Bill Cosby's accusers are among those applauding the Pennsylvania judge's decision to send him to prison. As we reported, the actor and comedian was sentenced yesterday to 3 to 10 years behind bars for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand in 2004. He is the first major celebrity sent to prison in the Me Too era. In all, more than 60 women have accused Cosby of sexual misconduct. We are joined now by one of those accusers. Her name is Victoria Valentino, and she joins us at the table. Victoria, it's very good to see you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I have to start with this. There are so many people who are waking up who still can't believe that America's dad is in prison. I know that you were in the courtroom yesterday. You sit here as an accuser. And to that you say what?
He wasn't America's dad to me. When I met him, it was 1969, and he was starring in I Spy. This was before he did the Huxtable show, the Cosby show. So after that experience, I left Los Angeles and I went on a healing odyssey, basically, that lasted about 12 years. I walked away from my career.
You were how old at the time?
I was 26.
26.
And it was right after my 6-year-old son had drowned in a swimming pool, which he knew about. And he used my grief to get to my roommate, who he had the hots for.
You feel he took advantage of that situation?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What was it like to sit in that courtroom? Obviously, this is something that has altered your life. This happened decades ago. Justice has finally been served. But what was it like in the courtroom to see that he wasn't remorseful? He was very defensive. And he never apologized. How important is it to you, or is it at this point, to have that apology from him?
Well, I don't think it'll matter because, first of all, I believe he's sociopathic. He has no conscience. Therefore, even if he apologized, it wouldn't matter. It would just be an act. It would be something to engender sympathy from the public.
Did you feel something watching him in court yesterday?
Oh, absolutely. We were all shaking. We were shaking. All of us sister survivors were sitting in the back row holding hands and just waiting for the moment, waiting for the moment, waiting for the moment. And then, of course, there were all these appeals and discussions and arguments. And so finally, when we did hear the sentencing, it was almost anticlimactic.
But you were telling me at dinner you had a moment last night when you had to reflect on it, when you saw him.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, when he was brought out in handcuffs, his jacket was off, and his baggy pants were being held up by suspenders. And I had this moment of feeling sorry for him because he seemed suddenly so frail, and that arrogant, pompous, rather terrifying presence was no longer there. But then I saw a smirk on his face. He still had that jokey smirk. But in the courtroom, he was still delusionally thinking that he was going to get out on bail. Because when they registered him as a violent sexual predator and told him that he had to register in any city that he went to, he asked them, well, do I have to register if I'm just going to another city for the evening and staying overnight and then going back home? And that was when we realized he really thought, up until the last, that he was going to be out on bail and go home.
Well, they are planning on appealing this ruling. Are you concerned at all that there's even a 1% chance that he could be acquitted?
I am not concerned because the arguments are that it's because he's so old that he couldn't possibly hurt another woman. And if he were in his home with an ankle bracelet, but let's face it, that's where he raped Andrea Constand.
Victoria, your capacity to feel sorry for him just in that moment, did that represent for you that something had changed for you? Are you now in a new place now that this has come down, this verdict?
Well, particularly this morning, I think I was running on adrenaline last night. And we were just talking about it and, tying everything up and feeling vindicated and validated. And this morning I'm feeling really emotional. And I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to understand why I'm feeling so emotional. And of course, walking into the green room and all the newspapers with his picture
headline,
on, and the booking shots and everything. And then I just have to keep reminding myself how arrogant and how pompous and how entitled he was throughout all 3 trials, which I've been to. You know, I've been through the whole
On
process.
your own dime. What
On
message
my
does
own
this send
dime.
to survivors?
Excuse me?
What message does his conviction send to survivors?
Well, it says that no matter how wealthy, no matter how powerful, no matter how famous, you are not above the law.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Victoria, for
My
coming
pleasure.
here and sharing that all with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.